Before we continue, check the situation between Flamengo and Red Bull Bragantino regarding Alassian's exit. He backed out. The deal is now on hold. We said there was still a chance to resolve it with a 2-year payment plan, but the deal stalled. Flamengo didn't accept the payment method that Red Bull Bragantino was proposing. They didn't accept the change they suggested, right? So, Flamengo has other teams interested in Alassian, and actually there's information coming from Russia that Zenit is interested in Alassian. We were just talking here with a source connected to Flamengo's board who confirmed Vene Casagrandi's information about Alassian not going to Red Bull anymore. Bragantino A had already brought this up yesterday here, right? So will Flamengo look for another option, another negotiation, or will they end up reintegrating him? The player, who had already bid farewell on social media, became emotional during Flamengo's karaoke game. Now, Alassian should be reintegrated or Flamengo will consider offers. As I said, there is an unconfirmed interest from Zenit. Flamengo will look for another possible deal regarding Alassian since they didn't accept the offer in 2 years. So for payment in 2 installments from Red Bull Bragantino, it's worth pointing out that for Flamengo, not having accepted it means they must have something else in mind.
And Libertadores, I'm a 4-time champion and much more. I'm going to win. Cheiro Verde is over. I'm on another level.
Let's go, damn it, let's go. We're going to win more tomorrow. Tomorrow is the big game. The Supercopa do Brasil isn't just the Libertadores or the Brasileirão. It's the Supercopa, the Recopa, and the Libertadores, which we've already won as our 4th title. Let's go for more. We still have a chance in the Carioca. I told you that the results helped. Flamengo is still going after this Carioca three-peat. Listen to what I'm saying, okay? We were really sad then. Everyone was saying Flamengo would play in the relegation round, the group of death, and making fun of us. The rivals claimed Flamengo was already relegated and even made videos about it. They don't realize there's a quadrangular, and it's embarrassing to have to play in it. Come on, for God's sake. They already took it for granted. Never doubt Flamengo. God willing, everything will work out and we'll be 3-time champions over Fluminense. Fluminense will be runner-up to Flamengo for the 3rd time, like Botafogo and Vasco. I just finished recording inside with Otinho and got him to sleep. Are you lying down? I'm going to work out, then I'll bring you the recording. About Flamengo's revenue reaching 2 billion revenue, hitting 2 billion, I want to let you know that at the Gavia store, at Flamengo's store in Gavia, it's coming. There are 4 Libertadores patches and the champion one, okay? This champion patch you're seeing here will be available for the kids' jersey, all right? You'll be able to get it for the kids' jersey. Well, we have here to bring you Flamengo's squad list. It's confirmed. Okay, Paquetá, it's confirmed. For those who hadn't seen our video before, we posted a video earlier today, right? And also reels and everything else. Letting you know that Paquetá was included in the squad, an exclusive piece of information, that Paquetá was included and was going to play, okay? He wasn't just traveling, he was going to play. It was clear Paquetá would play, especially after Flamengo's explanation. There's a difference between Paquetá and Saul traveling, and I'm going to show you here. Now look, this is what Flamengo released. Saul is traveling with the squad, but he's still recovering from surgery. In other words, everyone else included, including Danilo, Dela Cruz, who we mentioned earlier, would be available. Paquetá. Everyone is going to be available for Felipe Luis to play, okay? Alexandre Andril, Ayrton Lucas, Bruno Henrique Carrascal, Danilo Arrascaeta Cruz, Diogo Alves, Emerson Royal, Eric Pulgar, Everton Cebolinha, Everton Araújo, Guilhermo Varela, Jorginho, Luiz Araújo, Léo Ortiz, Lucas Paquetá, Léo Pereira, Pedro Gonçalo Plata, Agostinho, Rossi, Samuel Lino, Saul, and Vitão. Okay, I wanted to say something here, including the probable lineup. We have here, just reminding that Lucas Paquetá might come in during the game, right? And I believe Arrascaeta and Jorginho will start on the bench. Yeah, it's a physical thing then. Flamengo will likely field Rossi, Varela, Leo Ortiz, Leo Pereira, Alexandro, Pulgar, Everton Araújo, Carrascal, Gonçalo Plata, Samuel Lino, and Pedro. Okay. There's a possibility of Cebolinha coming in instead of Samuel Lino. I actually prefer Cebolinha coming in for Samuel Lino. I wanted to talk to you here about the matter of Emerson Royal. Many people are criticizing the player, but honestly, while he hasn't played well in some games, it's just not fair. He's a player who came to Flamengo, man, highly rated, a signing for a guy who was in Europe, who stood out in Europe. It's not possible. He struggled against Fluminense, but performed well against Vasco. Let's give him some credit. How many players do that? Look at Rodinei. After everyone wanted him to stay, he left. Let's give him some credit. Come on, just look at us, just look. I'm going to criticize every game, and if he plays badly in a game, I'll criticize him. He didn't do well and all that, but let's stop this persecution of asking for the guy to leave Flamengo. Flamengo won't sell the player now, and we'll keep him all season. Let's stay calm. Let's support the guy. This is an important message, man. Let's give him support. Let's stop going against our own assets. Let's give the guy some support. Let's believe in Emerson Royal's potential. He's going to turn things around for Flamengo. He already played well against Vasco, so who's to say he won't keep performing, you know? It's pre-season, guys. It's early in the year. Flamengo will pick up soon, so let's be patient with Felipe Luis. I've already seen Flamengo fans criticizing after this game against Fluminense and also after the game against São Paulo. Man, let's criticize, but let's avoid going against our own club, man. That's not right, okay? Flamengo, damn it, won everything last year. Flamengo is paying the price for what they won last year since they had to play until the end of the world season. Let's believe in support, okay? Look at our friend here from Seu Te Pego, who makes some really cool AIs here. He made a Flamengo and Corinthians AI Super Cup, all right? Check it out. Watch Marcelo rolling. Let's turn the volume down and rewind a bit. Look. Paquetá and Memphis Depay. But Paquetá doesn't actually play, right? Still, it's great. Look at that. Look, and there are the Flamengo players and arriving, right? Paquetá, he's going with that vibe. Oh, man, Andreas and Gerson there. Everyone is there watching. Look at that. Amazing, man. Look at Lucas Paquetá, Memphis Depay, man. It turned out really cool, man. Really cool. This one is really awesome. Look at that. Paquetá's coming. Man, amazing. Good fight, huh? Good fight, huh? Good fight. Put your clothes on. Man, you really went all out there, dude. Every hit was hard. Wow, man. Man, it was just hard hits. Very good, man. Very good. Spectacular, man. Sensational, man. This one turned out sensational, man. Sensational. Really good. I hope he gets in. I hope he knocks out Corinthians. I hope he knocks out Memphis Depay. Let's talk here about the condition of the field, right? Roger Flores, a commentator from Television Globo, talked about the field at Arena do Banco de Brasilia, right? Over at Mané Garrincha. We're moving on to the Supercopa do Brasil final, a more glamorous match featuring last year's national champions Flamengo and Corinthians. On a terrible field, it's a shame that the Brasilia Stadium has these field conditions, right? We had a round of the Brazilian Championship with spectacular fields, and now we're playing on a field like this. So, Roger Flores is complaining about the field at Mané Garrincha, and rightly so, it's a tiebreaker, right? Supercopa do Brasil between Flamengo and Corinthians. And man, let me share an interesting fact here. Usually the Brazilian champion is the Supercopa champion. There was only one year when the Supercopa champion was the Copa do Brasil champion. Usually, most of the time, the Brazilian champion is the Supercopa champion. Flamengo, the Brazilian champion in 2019, won the 2020 Supercopa. Flamengo 2020, Brazilian champion beat Palmeiras in the 2021 Supercopa and Atlético Paranaense in 2020. Flamengo is the 2022 Copa do Brasil champion. They were runners-up in the 2023 Supercopa. 3, right? Palmeiras, who were the Brazilian champions, and Flamengo, who are the Cup champions. Man of the Cup. That's not it. Flamengo 24. Brazil Cup champions then defeated Botafogo in 25. Beat Botafogo in 25. It was the only time. The rest was all Flamengo. The champion team is usually the Brazilian champion, which has happened several times. Man, it might mean something, it might mean nothing, but it's a fact. To make it relevant, Flamengo is the Brazilian champion. Before sharing Flamengo's revenue information, we have this. Marcos Moda posted here. Look, the Federation, Marcos Moda, who's a well-respected guy, right? The Vice President of Administration at Flamengo published some data from the International Federation of Football History and Statistics. International Federation of Football History and Statistics, right? The latest update of the ranking of the best clubs in the world. In the ranking, Flamengo appears as the 6th best club in the world and the first among non-European clubs. Another Brazilian club on the list is Palmeiras in 9th place, okay? Paris Saint-Germain leads with Real Madrid 2nd and Chelsea 3rd. International is 4th, Bayern 5th, and Flamengo 6th. Flamengo has a good spot on the list, right? So, even Marcos Moda, who is well known in sports law, posted about Flamengo, right? Let's take a look. Flamengo's departure, BAP players boarding, and Alan not traveling as mentioned. Let's watch Mengão boarding for the Super Cup final, huh? That's President BAP arriving for Flamengo's departure.
To Brasilia, thank you. Is Flamengo's bus there? Arrived here at Galeão Airport in Brasilia, where they face Corinthians for the Super Cup final on Sunday. There, José Buto, Flamengo's football director, is the first. ADC. Greets everyone. Coach Felipe Luis too. Switch with me. Arriving there at Galeão, according to ADC, the police here are organizing the press present here at Galeão. Danilo, since it was Danilo who returns after, it's a recovery period, right? Along with Dela Cruz, who also came back. Leo Pereira is present there. Leo Ortiz accompanies the defender, always with his pillow. Ayrton Lucas is also present, and he's coming in along with the rest of the players. Everton Cebolinha, who's playing well. There he is. Danilo and Dela Cruz return, joined by newcomer Paquetá. He's also Flamengo's new signing, the club that registered the youngster in the Boletim Informativo Diario yesterday, so he's eligible to play. Vitão, the defender, is also a new signing, right? First signing of the year for Flamengo, he's coming in. Here you go, Flamengo arrives at 6. Our reporter is already there, Gabriel Orphan in Brasilia, ready to welcome Mengão. So here we in Rio will be covering from here, right? Okay, let's see who's the next to come down. Flamengo and Corinthians face each other tomorrow at 4 p.m. in a big rivalry. And the condition of the field is a bit different, maybe even damaged. There's Andrew, the goalkeeper, along with the other goalkeeper, Diogo Alves, both of them. There you go. Emerson Royal, he's there, look. Together with Pedro. There's Saul. Let's one put. Alexandro Eric plugs in his wired earphones, something you don't see much these days. There he is, Karaskar, stylish and carrying his suitcase. Super stylish Karaskar, with all due respect. Gonzalo Plata is looking sharp, summer guy, well dressed. Here he is next at Galeão Airport. The Flamengo boat, always here, very calm. Today it's not so sunny. And look, De La Cruz, who's also coming back, see? One of the new things is alongside Arrascaeta, a true star who returned against São Paulo. Despite losing, right? You can see he still hasn't reached 100% of his physical conditioning, but God willing, he'll shine tomorrow, right? There's Luis Araujo, who was a key player against São Paulo, right? Key player, super important. He's the one who plays well against São Paulo. Then Samuel Lino. Guilherme Varela is also Everton Araújo. Bruno Henrique, look, our MacBook jacket, wired headphones too. Hey, look, Rodrigo, Caio passing by Jorginho, then the coaching staff, right? Dr. Fernando Sasaki, and then it seems like it's over, boarding is done, and that's it. Flamengo vs Corinthians tomorrow, 4 post-meridian in Brasilia.
Oh, and real quick, before we bring up the report about Flamengo's revenue, it's important to mention that it seems like Felipe Luis is relying less and less on Alan, right? The player is once again left out of the squad list due to the coach's technical decision, right? Bruno Lemos, who works with Mauro Santana, Bruno Lemos, bringing the information that by technical decision, the player Alan trained normally at CTN Indurubu and was not included in the squad, so it's a technical choice, and the player is once again left out of the list. We just hope negotiations can happen, since Flamengo has been dealing with all players left out of the squad. Just like with Michael Juninho, this happened to every player Flamengo didn't use. Flamengo made deals this transfer window, so another negotiation is likely, possibly for midfielder Alan. It's curious that Alan doesn't travel, but Saul, who reportedly had surgery according to the Flamengo community, still travels afterward. So why doesn't Alan travel? Maybe something else is happening, right? Negotiations must be underway for Flamengo. Not even listed. Saul is injured, had surgery, and still travels, but Alan doesn't. And speaking about revenue, I just mentioned that Corinthians, even with a lot of debt and everything, is helping the fans and everything else, man. It's a matter of planning of Flamengo's choices. We respect that here too, but it's important for us to talk about what Flamengo is planning for 2026. Flamengo goes into 2026 with billion-dollar revenue, reduced debt, and an open vault for football. Flamengo hasn't approved the 2026 budget internally yet, but the numbers presented by President Luiz Eduardo do Baptista at the end of 2025 help to understand how the club is planning for the season. The projection indicates revenue growth and high investments in soccer. That's already happening with the signing of Lucas Paquetá, for example, along with positive results. We can also consider titles and everything. Man, look, we're talking about all this without even considering titles, right? If we include titles, the value could be much higher. According to BAP, the numbers presented are based on a conservative scenario in a meeting with the board members, right? I'm a board member, partner, and owner. I live far away and no longer attend in person, but you can join remotely now. The president emphasized that the projections do not take into account sports achievements or extraordinary revenues. Because Flamengo works with what it understands to be a secure revenue base, so Flamengo doesn't count on prize money. It's surreal. The estimated gross revenue is 1.8 billion. Okay, Flamengo projects 1.8 billion without counting on prize money, titles, and everything else. The number is less than the club's 2025 total of about 2.1 billion, but context is important to note. Last year was boosted by significant player sales, 511 million. And the 2026 number doesn't include trophies, doesn't include prize money from titles. Player sales are included as a conservative target in the 2026 budget. It also excludes the Club World Cup, where Flamengo earned significant money despite only reaching the round of 16. Flamengo is projecting 256 million in player sales, which is well below, almost half, of the 511 million recorded in 2025. The difference also highlights not only the cautious approach of the budget, but also the goal of reducing departures and strengthening the squad, which is already a champion. So Flamengo is boosting its recurring revenues and also reducing the weight of television in the projection, which was even presented by BAPE. The 2026 forecast shows a clear shift in Flamengo's revenue profile. So, just so you have an idea, television rights remain relevant, but they lose their leading role to areas directly controlled by the club. This is important because it lets you better predict what you'll receive during the year, so you don't have to rely on certain things. Flamengo's revenue projections for 2026: commercial 538 million, match day and stadium 504 million, television rights 265 million. It's nearly half, right? From match day, including tickets and everything. Licensing and retail, 95 million. Social club, 55 million. Communication and content, 5 million. That includes Flamengo television and everything, showing how little it is compared to Flamengo's other earnings. Controlled debt and positive results complete the projected budget scenario for 2026. Flamengo is working with a net operational debt of 41 million. The number represents a significant decrease compared to 2026, when the net debt was 96 million. In other words, it has already dropped a lot, right, guys? It's gone down. Flamengo's debt is going down. The net operational debt is down to 41 million, less than half of what it was in 2025. So, man, Flamengo is paying off debt. Flamengo is keeping its revenue really high, even in a year without the Club World Cup. What brought so much money to Flamengo last year? And not even counting the titles, right? If Flamengo wins the Libertadores again, if Flamengo wins the Brazilian Championship, if Flamengo wins the Copa do Brasil, man, I'm talking about the Supercup and everything else. If Flamengo wins all these titles, right? Plus a few more sales, Flamengo surpasses 2.1 billion again, right? Flamengo is doing well, thank you. Flamengo keeps increasing its revenue, even with so many expenses, so many signings, and maintaining an incredible team, right, man? Amazing. And don't forget the Club World Cup in 2029. More money will come in, and Flamengo will keep competing in top tournaments, always staying at the top. God willing, starting tomorrow by winning this Supercopa do Brasil trophy against Corinthians. Even with their fans being bigger and everything, with them taking it, I won't say just look. I don't think their fans will be bigger. I don't think their fans will be bigger in the stadium. I'm talking about the organized supporters. They're going to bring more organized supporters. Because of the buses that the management helped with, I think our management could help the organized supporters a bit more with the bus issue and all. So we can have that party in the stands? Yes, I think so. But our regular folks, our common fans, they'll be there, and I'm sure of that. Because tickets were sold separately for the north and south sections, I think the stadium will be evenly split between both fan bases. But with their management helping them, it's complicated. It's complicated. All those guys are in debt, but their management is helping them. What can you do? Let's go all out against everyone. Flamengo remains strong in revenue and keeps growing with major signings. That deal with Paquetá was really surreal.